Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with a question. Why do we feel certain places give us energy while others drain us? Why do we sometimes walk into a home and immediately feel at peace, while other places feel heavy, dark, unsettling? I'm not talking about superstition, I'm talking about something real. Our environments shape our emotions, our thinking, and yes, even our souls. The truth is, we invite things into our lives, both good and bad. What we allow into our homes affects not just our mood, but our relationships, our mental clarity, and even our success. And today, I want to talk to you about something we don't discuss enough: the unseen influences in our homes. The things that don't just take up space, but take up energy, cloud our thoughts, and create invisible barriers between us and the lives we want to live. Here's the uncomfortable part. Some of these influences are demonic. Now, when I say demonic, I don't mean just the Hollywood version, horns, fire, scary voices. No. I mean energies, objects, and beliefs that slowly erode our peace, our joy, and our ability to love and lead. So let's talk about it. What are the things we keep in our homes that invite negativity? And more importantly, how do we take them out? Objects with a dark history. Have you ever walked into a room and felt something was just off? Maybe the air felt heavy, the energy seemed dense, or you couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching you. We often ignore these sensations, dismissing them as paranoia or imagination. But what if I told you that your instincts are more in tune with reality than you think? Everything in our world carries energy. Just as a song can bring back memories or a scent can transport you to childhood, objects absorb and hold onto the energy of their past, and sometimes that past is not something you want lingering in your home. Objects with dark histories can serve as anchors for negativity, constantly radiating an unseen force that disrupts your peace and well-being. Consider antique or secondhand objects. While they may appear beautiful, their past ownership is unknown. Imagine buying a chair from an estate sale, unaware that the previous owner suffered from years of depression while sitting in it, or acquiring an old mirror that once hung in a house where betrayal and pain were common themes. While we can't see this history with our eyes, our spirits can feel it. Stories abound of people experiencing strange occurrences after bringing home old objects. A woman once shared how she bought a gorgeous painting from a thrift store. The moment she hung it up, she began experiencing nightmares, sudden mood swings, and an overwhelming sense of unease in her own home. When she finally looked into the artist's background, she discovered that he had painted it during a time of deep suffering and mental torment. The energy of his pain was embedded in the artwork, and it radiated that same darkness into her space. Once she removed it, the nightmares stopped and the oppressive energy lifted. It's not just old items that can hold negativity. Items tied to violence, suffering, or the occult can carry an even heavier burden. Many cultures and spiritual traditions warn against keeping certain objects in the home, such as masks used in rituals, weapons from battlefields, or statues depicting entities associated with darkness. These items, even if kept for decoration, may carry an unseen force that invites spiritual unrest. One of the most common examples is secondhand jewelry. Rings, necklaces, or bracelets may hold sentimental value, but they can also carry the emotions and experiences of their previous owners. If someone wore a piece of jewelry during a painful breakup, a financial crisis, or even a period of illness, that emotional residue lingers. Some people report feeling inexplicably drained or burdened after wearing inherited jewelry, not realizing that they are carrying the emotional weight of its past. Another overlooked category is gifts received from people who wished us harm. Maybe an ex-partner gave you a piece of clothing, or a former friend gifted you a book. Even if the gift itself seems harmless, the intention behind it can influence its energy. If the giver had bad intentions, harbored resentment, or masked their jealousy with a forced smile, that negativity remains attached to the item. The most dangerous objects, however, are those intentionally designed to attract dark forces. Items used in occult practices, Ouija boards, spell books, ritualistic symbols, can serve as doorways to the unseen. Many who have experimented with these tools out of curiosity later report unexplained disturbances in their homes, objects moving, a sense of being watched, or a shift in their mental and emotional states. Whether or not one believes in the supernatural, the psychological and energetic effects are undeniable. This isn't about paranoia or living in fear. It's about awareness. If something in your home makes you feel uneasy, if you sense a shift in energy when you pass by a certain item, or if unexplained events started occurring after bringing something new into your space, listen to that feeling. Our intuition is powerful, and it often knows things before our conscious mind does. Removing these objects isn't just about clearing out physical clutter. It's about reclaiming your space. When we remove items that carry darkness, we make room for light. When we eliminate objects tied to pain, we open the door for peace. Your home should be a sanctuary, not a storage space for energy that doesn't serve you. Take inventory of your surroundings. Look at each item and ask yourself, does this bring me joy or heaviness? Does this make me feel at peace, or does it carry a weight I can't explain? If something feels off, trust yourself, let it go, because what we allow in our environment shapes our reality. And when we choose to remove the things that hold us back, we free ourselves to step into a life of clarity, purpose, and peace. Symbols of fear, not love. The things we choose to surround ourselves with have a powerful impact on our emotions, mindset, and energy. Whether we realize it or not, every object in our home tells a story. Every image we hang on our walls, every sculpture we place on our shelves, and every decoration we display contributes to the atmosphere we create in our personal space. Some of these items promote peace, love, and inspiration. Others, however, bring an entirely different energy, one rooted in fear, chaos, and negativity. Symbols of fear don't always appear as obvious threats. They aren't always dark, grotesque, or menacing at first glance. Some are hidden in plain sight, disguised as artistic expression, trendy decor, or sentimental memorabilia. But if we take a moment to examine what we've allowed into our space, we may find that some of these items don't reflect the energy we truly want in our lives. Imagine walking into a home where the walls are lined with artwork depicting destruction, suffering, or despair. A painting of a war-torn landscape, a sculpture of a tormented face, or even a simple black and white photograph of a crying child. These images, while artistically significant, carry emotional weight. They evoke feelings of sadness, anxiety, or tension. Even if we aren't consciously aware of their impact, our subconscious mind absorbs these emotions every time we see them. Many people have unknowingly surrounded themselves with symbols that reinforce fear rather than love. Some keep posters of horror movies on their walls, filling their living space with images of terror. Others collect statues or figurines that represent aggression, violence, or suffering. Some even hold on to masks, dolls, or relics with eerie or unsettling features. While these objects may seem harmless, their presence can create an undercurrent of unease, subtly influencing our thoughts and emotions. There's a reason that spiritual and psychological traditions across the world emphasize the power of symbols. Symbols are more than just decorations. They carry meaning, intention, and influence. Think about the symbols we associate with peace. A dove, a heart, a sunrise. Just seeing these images can create a sense of calm and positivity. On the other hand, symbols associated with fear, darkness, or destruction can stir up anxiety and discomfort. If we wouldn't willingly welcome fear into our lives, why would we invite its symbols into our homes? Some symbols are tied to specific cultural or spiritual beliefs, and while they may hold significance for some, they can also carry energies that aren't in alignment with us. Occult symbols, for example, often find their way into mainstream fashion, jewelry, and home decor. While they may seem like harmless aesthetic choices, they can carry meanings and intentions that we don't fully understand. Some people have reported feeling an unexplained heaviness or experiencing strange occurrences after bringing such items into their homes. This isn't about superstition. It's about being mindful of the energies we invite into our space. Even objects that were given to us with good intentions can carry fear-based energy. A souvenir from a place that made us feel uncomfortable, a piece of art created during a time of emotional turmoil, or even a sentimental item from a past relationship that ended in pain. These objects hold on to the emotions they were surrounded by. If we keep them in our space, we continue to relive those emotions, even if only on a subconscious level. The truth is, We have the power to choose what we allow into our environment. If an object makes us feel uneasy, if a symbol doesn't align with the energy we want in our lives, or if we find ourselves drawn to negativity through the things we display, it's time to take a step back and reassess. Are we decorating our lives with symbols of fear, or are we surrounding ourselves with reminders of love, hope, and inspiration? By intentionally choosing what we bring into our space, we take control of the atmosphere we create. We can fill our homes with symbols that promote peace, artwork that inspires joy, and objects that uplift us rather than weigh us down. Fear has no place in a home built on love. When we remove symbols of fear, we make room for the energy we truly want to flourish. Items tied to a negative past, everything in our environment has a story. Every object we own carries a memory, a meaning, or an emotional imprint from the past. Sometimes these items serve as beautiful reminders of love, joy, and personal growth, but other times they keep us trapped in moments we wish to leave behind. The truth is, many people unknowingly hold on to physical objects that are tied to negative experiences, painful memories, or toxic relationships. These items may seem harmless, but they silently influence our emotions, energy, and even our ability to move forward in life. Consider the power of nostalgia. We all have items that remind us of our past: old letters, gifts from loved ones, clothing from significant life moments. Some of these are treasures, but others act as chains. Imagine holding onto a necklace given to you by someone who betrayed you. Every time you see it, a flood of emotions comes rushing back: anger, sadness, regret. Even if you tell yourself it's just an object, your subconscious mind connects it to a painful chapter in your life. It becomes a constant, silent reminder of something you're trying to heal from. Many people struggle with letting go of gifts from toxic relationships, whether it's a stuffed animal from an ex-partner, a handwritten note from a former friend, or a wedding ring from a failed marriage. These items hold emotional weight. Keeping them often means keeping a psychological and energetic connection to the past. Even if the relationship is over, the object keeps the emotions alive. It's no surprise that people who hold onto such items often find it harder to move on. They unknowingly keep themselves tethered to old wounds, reliving past pain through the things they refuse to let go of. Beyond relationships, objects tied to difficult life experiences can carry emotional residue. Clothing worn during a traumatic period, furniture from a stressful living situation, or even journals filled with painful memories all serve as reminders of a past that may no longer serve us. While there is value in acknowledging our growth, keeping objects that are drenched in pain can prevent us from fully stepping into a new chapter. The energy of the past lingers, subtly influencing how we feel in the present. Another category of objects that people hold on to is related to loss. Losing a loved one is one of the most difficult experiences in life, and it's natural to want to hold on to something that reminds us of them. However, there's a fine line between keeping something as a cherished memory and holding on to an item out of unresolved grief. Some people struggle with letting go of the belongings of someone who has passed, fearing that discarding the object means letting go of the person. But love and memories don't live in objects, they live within us. Holding on to too many things can sometimes prolong the pain rather than honor the love that was shared. Even objects tied to failure can carry emotional weight. A rejection letter from a job you wanted, an unfinished project that reminds you of a lost dream, or a book filled with ideas you never pursued. These things can either inspire us to try again or weigh us down with regret. If they serve as motivation, they have a purpose. But if they serve as reminders of what we didn't achieve, they become obstacles in our journey forward. Sometimes, we don't even realize the emotional impact of certain objects until we remove them. Many people have experienced a sense of relief after finally letting go of something that was tied to a painful past. It's as if a weight is lifted and suddenly there's more room to breathe, to grow, to move forward without invisible strings pulling them back. The process of decluttering isn't just about getting rid of things. It's about creating space for healing, for peace, and for the future we truly want to step into. The most powerful thing we can do is to be intentional about what we keep in our personal space. If something brings joy, comfort, or inspiration, it deserves a place in our home. But if an object triggers pain, regret, or sorrow, we must ask ourselves why we are holding on to it. Are we keeping it out of habit, out of fear, out of a subconscious need to stay connected to something that no longer serves us? Letting go is not about forgetting, it's about freeing ourselves. It's about making the conscious decision to release what holds us back so we can fully embrace the present and step boldly into the future. By removing items tied to a negative past, we allow ourselves to break free from emotional baggage and create an environment that supports healing, growth, and peace. Unwanted gifts and inherited items. Our homes are filled with objects that we have intentionally chosen, but they are also filled with things that have been given to us. Gifts from friends, family, heirlooms, or items we inherited. While many of these objects hold sentimental value and positive memories, others carry a weight we don't always recognize. Some gifts and inherited items may seem harmless on the surface, yet they introduce energy into our space that does not align with our well-being. These objects can subtly affect our emotions, our mindset, and even our ability to feel truly at peace in our own homes. Unwanted gifts are one of the most common sources of emotional clutter. Many people keep gifts out of obligation, even when they don't like them, or when they come from people with whom they no longer have a positive relationship. Imagine receiving a decorative item from someone who hurt you deeply. Every time you see it, you are reminded of that person and the pain they caused. Even if the object itself is neutral, it carries the emotional imprint of its giver. Yet, because it was a gift, you may feel guilty about letting it go. Guilt is one of the strongest emotions that keep people attached to things they don't actually want. There's a feeling that if we get rid of a gift, we are somehow disrespecting the person who gave it to us. But a gift is meant to bring joy, not burden. If something in your home makes you feel obligated rather than happy, it's not really serving its purpose as a gift. Keeping it only reinforces emotional ties to a past that you may be trying to move away from. Inherited items present an even greater challenge. Family heirlooms often come with deep-rooted history and expectations. A piece of furniture that belonged to a grandparent, a set of dishes passed down for generations, or even a collection of old books. These things may hold sentimental value, but they also hold energy. Some inherited items bring comfort, reminding us of loved ones in a way that feels warm and reassuring. But others carry a heavier presence, one that can subtly affect the energy of a home. It's important to remember that just because something has been in the family for decades doesn't mean it belongs in your home. Some heirlooms carry stories of hardship, loss, or difficult family dynamics. If an item reminds you of a painful past, a toxic relationship, or a time of struggle, it may be contributing to an atmosphere that is not in alignment with peace and healing. Keeping an object simply because it belonged to someone before you is not a good enough reason if it doesn't serve you in a positive way. Another consideration is the unknown history of inherited objects. If you receive an item that has passed through many hands over time, you don't always know the energy it carries. Some people have reported feeling uneasy after bringing an old object into their home, only to later discover that it came from a place of suffering or conflict. This is why in many cultures people cleanse inherited objects before bringing them into their living space. Whether through prayer, ritual, or simple intention, the process of clearing an object's energy can make a significant difference in how it feels in your home. It's also worth noting that some inherited objects don't match the lifestyle or aesthetic of the person who receives them. Many people keep things out of respect for the previous owner, even if the object does not fit their own taste or needs. A heavy antique cabinet, an outdated painting, or a set of ornate dishes may have been cherished by a past generation, but if it doesn't bring you joy, it's okay to let it go. You are not obligated to keep something just because it once belonged to someone you loved. The process of letting go of unwanted gifts and inherited items can be emotional, but it is also freeing. It allows you to reclaim your space and create an environment that reflects who you are now, rather than being tied to expectations, obligations, or the past. You can choose to honor relationships and memories in other ways, through photographs, stories, or meaningful rituals, rather than keeping objects that do not serve you. At the end of the day, your home should be a reflection of your energy, your values, and your personal peace. If an object does not contribute to that, it is not necessary to keep it. Releasing unwanted gifts and inherited items is not an act of rejection, but rather an act of self-care. It is a way of making room for the things that truly bring you joy, comfort, and positive energy. By consciously choosing what stays in your space, you create an environment that supports your well-being, allowing you to live with greater clarity, peace, and freedom. Clutter that creates chaos. Our environment has a profound impact on our emotions, energy, and overall well-being. When we walk into a space that is clean, organized, and intentional, we feel a sense of peace and clarity. But when we step into a space filled with clutter, the opposite happens. Clutter doesn't just take up physical space, it takes up mental and emotional space as well. It creates a sense of chaos, drains our energy, and makes it difficult to focus or feel truly at ease. The objects in our homes should serve a purpose, whether that purpose is functional, sentimental, or aesthetic. But when clutter takes over, it disrupts the harmony of our living space and can even invite negativity into our lives. Many people don't realize just how much clutter affects them. We become so used to the piles of papers on the counter, the overflowing closets, and the random objects scattered around the house that we stop noticing them. But even if we are not consciously aware of the mess, our subconscious mind registers it. Clutter sends a constant message to our brains that there is unfinished business, that there are things left undone, and that we are not in control of our space. This underlying stress can lead to feelings of anxiety, overwhelm, and even guilt. One of the biggest problems with clutter is that it blocks the flow of energy. In many spiritual traditions, the arrangement of objects in a space influences the energy within it. When clutter accumulates, it creates stagnation. The energy in a room feels stuck, heavy, or even oppressive. Have you ever noticed how much lighter and freer you feel after decluttering a space? That's because clearing out unnecessary items allows fresh energy to circulate, creating an environment that feels open, inviting, and peaceful. Clutter can also be a reflection of emotional baggage. Often, the things we hold on to are connected to unresolved feelings, fears, or insecurities. A closet full of clothes that no longer fit may represent a reluctance to accept change. A drawer filled with broken or useless items may symbolize an unwillingness to let go of the past. Stacks of unopened mail or unread books may reflect procrastination or avoidance. When we begin to clear out physical clutter, we often experience an emotional release as well. Letting go of unnecessary objects can be a symbolic act of letting go of old worries, negative patterns, and emotional burdens. Another way clutter affects us is by draining our energy. Have you ever tried to relax in a room that was messy and disorganized? It's difficult to truly unwind when there's visual chaos around you. The more clutter we have, the more our minds feel scattered and distracted. We spend extra time looking for lost items, feel frustrated by the lack of order, and constantly remind ourselves that we should clean up. This ongoing mental drain takes a toll, making us feel exhausted even before we've done anything productive. Clutter also invites negative energy into a space. Items that are broken, unused, or in poor condition can create an atmosphere of stagnation and neglect. When we keep things that no longer serve us, we are holding on to old energy that no longer aligns with who we are or who we want to become. A cluttered home often leads to a cluttered mind, making it difficult to focus, set goals, and feel motivated. By clearing out the excess, we create room for new opportunities, fresh ideas, and a greater sense of purpose. Some of the most overlooked sources of clutter are the small, insignificant things we accumulate over time. Junk drawers filled with random odds and ends, cabinets stuffed with expired products, shelves lined with items we don't even remember buying. These things seem harmless, but they contribute to an overall sense of disorder. Even digital clutter, such as a phone overloaded with unread messages or a computer filled with disorganized files, can create mental stress. When we take the time to clear out these small things, we create an overall sense of control and calm in our lives. Letting go of clutter doesn't mean getting rid of everything. It means being intentional about what we keep. It means asking ourselves, does this item serve a purpose? Does it bring me joy? Does it contribute to the kind of life I want to create? If the answer is no, then it's time to release it. By clearing out the excess, we make space for the things that truly matter. We invite peace, clarity, and positive energy into our homes, allowing us to live with greater intention and harmony.